Down now? Yeah.
Welcome and thank you so much for joining us today. So I'm Nathalie Ferrier, Higgins Art Gallery Director, today next to me I have Boston poet artist Cedric Harper. Welcome, Cedric.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone.
So Cedric is the Cape Cod Community College artist in residence this semester. And it's a great pleasure and honor to have you and your beautiful exhibition that you will show us in a few minutes. In fact, Cedric is going to give us a private tour of the exhibit. But before we start, we would like to give thanks and gratitude to the Wampanoag Nation. Here at the Cape Cod Community College, we acknowledge that we gather upon the traditional and ancestral land of the Wampanoag. We condemn the unjust deeds done in the past and honor with gratitude the land itself and the indigenous people who have stewarded it throughout the generations. We commit to uplift Wampanoag and indigenous voices and continue to work for reconciliation through collaboration in our role as better neighbors. Also, I would like to let you know that we will do questions and answers at the end of the webinar. So please, if you look on your screen, you will see the Q&A button. And so you can put your questions in there. And at any time, put your comments in the chat, because we would love to know what you think of the exhibit. So welcome, Cedric. It's wonderful to have you here in Barnstable. And so it's a real privilege. And in fact, I discovered your work quite recently. It was during the spring. You had an exhibition at a very wonderful gallery that is called the Mills Gallery. It's on Tremont Street in Boston. And it was a solo show. And the solo show, in fact, was curated by Adriana Pratt. Oh, it was, sorry, Carol Moses. Adriana Pratt is part of the group. I see three group. So
all beautiful, wonderful women.
So I left a little note in the gallery book, and that's how we connected. And here we are today, sitting in the middle of the forest of totems. So you have been seeing a lot of our students last week, this week, and today also. And it was a wonderful opportunity for the students to meet you in person, and also for them to have a physical experience with your art, because they were literally immersed into it. And then you engage in great conversations with them. So I heard you talking to the students, and you said to them, you said, art is pure energy.
Yes. Yes.
And so you also told them that art is tactile. So usually they are told that, you know, nothing should be touched. So I'll let you.
And my experience was to let people touch the artwork so they can feel and see what I was doing when I was making it. And I think it worked out for a lot of people, even myself.
And so I guess I would say you had a very creative life. You were some kind of wonder child who started to dance.
Yes.
At the age of 4 or 5.
Yes.
And then you were a professional dancer, and you had a career as a contemporary dancer.
Yes.
With different choreographers, including Elvin Ali.
Yes.
So do you feel that visual art and dance are some kind of art that connect with each other?
I think my interpretation is that whatever you are given, there's a huge reservoir of it, of this energy that you can put out into the world. And you choose how you want to put it out into the world. And so this was sort of my contribution in doing so.
And so when we look at your forest of totems, and in fact, you know, we're going to start walking around, but they have these vibrant colors, they are meticulously painted, and you have some very subtle text that we are about to discover. And so I would love to know.
And I want people to know all of this wood came out of the trash of Boston. So I repurposed the wood.
Yeah, nothing gets wasted with you. Like
Nope.
Every single piece of wood you find, you're going to start painting on.
Exactly.
And so the show is titled it's titled Ancestral Language. And so tell me, why are ancient languages so important to you?
I feel myself drawn to the form, to the way they're written, to what they meant to the people they meant to. And I just think and I think I consider myself being one of the oldest races on this earth. So I try to use what's original.
So I think we're going to start giving people a tour through the space. So we're going to follow Cedric, and we're going to go very slowly so you guys can have some good images.
Start from the beginning.
Yeah. So Cedric, how does it feel to be in this space with your art?
It is absolutely amazing because this is a show I've been trying to get for 10 years. So getting it and seeing it and being a part of it is so rewarding.
So let's walk around. We'll follow you.
The pieces with the circles that you may see are the latest pieces, and this design started in 2022. And it has to do with the relationships that we keep in life or we develop in life. The full circle is more like where you start with the relationship and the relationship ends with in full circle with either both parties dying or termination of that relationship and somehow in some form. But then, you know, there's severed pieces, and that's all demonstrated in, you know, you may know somebody for a week or 2 days, but they still have an impact on your life. And this one is a little bit, you see 4 sections hanging now, and you can interchange the middle 3 sections. So this is what one piece looks like. And it's very meticulous, and it's red on red and dot designed. So the middle 3 you can interchange, but you cannot interchange the mass or the anchor.
So basically, Cedric, how do you pick your colors? Because, you know, I see a lot of very bright colors in the space, but I see, for example, something, you know, very dark, like this piece that is over here.
Yeah.
So how do you decide whenever you work on a piece of wood?
I'm not really sure that I decide. I think more that the wood decides, and then we sort of make a compromise. I think I'm like to see it more of that way because I'm not imposing, I am imposing my will on it, but they also have a say. So.
And so we're going to keep walking. And at first we had the AC in the space, and it was amazing because everything was moving.
It's moving, but without the air, they will not move. So.
Yeah, and then the secret language. Well, this one is amazing. Like we're gonna go to this one because it took me a few days before I could read it, but the students somehow picked on it right away. They could see the words.
It has some enigma text in it, and the text runs through it, and it's thoughts on people, you know, relationships you have with people, events that you have with people. So, and then the side has the hidden text.
Oh wow! There's also
you know, and there's also text on the front, but
yeah,
it's a pretty formed poem that's in here, and it has to do something with Spain and buried seed.
So buried seed meaning like that at some point they will grow or
yes, and sprout and have a life of their own.
Yeah, so this one is extremely colorful, pretty long. How do you transport your materials?
A wagon and body work. So I have a wagon and I drag it behind me pretty much, you know, so basic transportation. Yeah.
So do you basically go all around your neighborhood? And
I probably have a radius of maybe 10 blocks. And it's gotten to the point now where for our trash day in Dorchester, it's Tuesday. So people lay the wood aside for me, and sometimes I find little notes saying, oh, Cedric, I left this wood for you. I hope it proves to be very fruitful.
Oh, that's great, because now the neighbors save materials for you.
You know, I don't have to dig in the trash so much for it. Now they put it aside for me.
Great. So let's keep going. Do you want to show us some of your clay works as we walk around? Because there's a beautiful bowl that's you made.
I want to introduce you to my bowl. And this is a ceramic bowl. There's only 2 left. And it's very, very precious to me because it has a history of when I worked in mental health for almost 32 years. And instead of the job making me take classes, they let me take art classes to better my mind. So I thought that was very beneficial.
Yeah, and then we have another of these beautiful pieces made out of clay in the gallery. So
And here's the teapot.
yeah,
So very intricately designed and
I love that.
worthy of anyone's table.
Yes, and I love that the shape is, it's a little bit like a cartoony kind of teapot.
It's okay. Can you see the edges there? Yeah.
Can you use it as a teapot?
I wouldn't advise it. Maybe if you're very strong.
So these were made while you were taking care of grown-ups.
Yes. So I worked at a home called Hammerman House in Brookline, and I worked there for almost 32 years and was an advocate for mental retarded adults and people with disabilities.
So now we have a totem. I'm not sure with the camera if we see.
It's all black, but it has a paper skin. And the paper comes from packages that you get in the mail when you order packages online. So I recycled the paper. And it soaks up a lot of paint, but I think this is the only one here, but I think I did what I wanted to do with it.
And it's a pretty tall one as well. So yeah, I should film a little bit the ceiling because everything is hanging. We have about at least 50 hanging, plus some other sculptures that are on pedestals. Tell us about this piece here, because there is an ancient language.
Yes,
right?
so this definitely has an ancient language in it. And most of this is taken from Sanskrit and Indian languages that they have, that they only write and they don't speak. And so that's one side, and then you turn it and then you get the other side.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Can you tell us what the meaning of these words,
So,
of these characters?
Most of these characters in this piece and symbols are blessings to the tribe. Bless this house, bless my children, bless that we move forward in life. So it's all positive messages.
I love this one. It's just so gorgeous. To me, it looks like
It's a mosaic.
Scary night.
Yeah,
You know?
It's very compact. And it's a design, it has a very organic design. And like cells from your body or cells from nature, like, you may find in any tree or any soil or any animal or any human. So it's just a very organic design.
Yeah, and do you want to talk about this one that has English text?
So this English text comes from I've had a friendship with a friend of mine for probably 40 years or more. And he made a comment at one point in my life and said, "Oh, you really don't do political art." So to prove that to him that I can bring out the policy, this piece came into being. And this is also like 2002 or yeah. So yeah.
And it talks about slavery.
It takes about and racism, and it that's sticking point language. But it tells you about the things that people of color had to go through. So some of the violations that people of color had to live through and survive through, and I think still live through and survive through. But I think it's a process of moving through it.
And so tell me about these very long black totems that are right here.
So
There are like 3 of them.
There's these three, and they have actual poems on the sides of them, and that it lyrically makes sense. And the face side has sort of black and white kabuki things going on and sticks running through it, and that's where you see the black on black.
Yeah, these are beautiful.
And then you have the poems on the side that run all the way through, and then they pick up and then run on the other side.
Yeah, these are beautiful. So here we have one of your newer works, right? These are.
So these are all 2023, and these are wood sculptures, and I put legs on them. So just once you get them off the floor, people seem to respect them more. So.
And so at first, what made you want to hang everything?
Like it's hanging, like I
Is
think
it like
number
it's-
one, I think the first reason is that I've seen a lot of art in my life, and I have never seen anything like this.
To me, like the first time I saw them, I felt some serenity and
Some
there was
calmness, some tranquility.
calmness, exactly.
Yes.
And so to me, they were a little bit, they made me think of Tibetan art a little bit, but except that, your dots are so you and they have nothing to do with Tibetan art, but it was a feeling
I
of
think there's
peace.
some spirituality in this, and I think I absorb spirituality in my life and in the world, and this is the way I give it back to people.
And so we have more in the back. We'll go to the back so people have an idea of the entire show. And the show, in fact, is up until October 14th. So please.
Which is a Saturday.
Which is a Saturday. And we'll be taking down the show on the 14th, but we are keeping it up from 11 to 1. So for the people who didn't have a chance to come during the week because they are working, they can come and then at 1 we'll start taking it down. So join us on the 14th from 11 to 1 and meet Cedric and his amazing husband who was on the scaffolding when we were installing all that. More than I was.
So Cedric is not getting on any scaffolding.
Yeah, because Cedric was telling us this goes to this height, this goes here, this goes there, and
So
we were.
I was doing the choreography for the Forest of Tones.
Exactly, and we were trying to be the dancers as well as we could.
But you did very well.
Thank you. So this is a beautiful new one, right?
Yes. So this is wood, and this is a wood stump from Connecticut. And it was just one of the pieces that was near Ed's father's house. And I just loved it and thought, boy, I can do something with this, something new, bring something new out. So these are all like new sculptures with feet.
Do you want to show us the other side? It's heavy, right? It's solid wood.
Solid.
Wow, that's great. Wonderful.
You have that. And then you have that. Then you have
His
nothing.
signature.
Just me.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to walk slowly back to the front of the gallery. I think I will ask you, in the meantime, I'm going to ask you a few questions. So you were born in Kansas.
I was born in Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City is just like St. Paul, Minnesota. And though Kansas City, there is a river that divides us, and the other side of that river is Kansas City, Missouri. And of course, for people who don't know, Kansas City, Missouri was one of the original jazz cities. So in the 20s, even before the 20s, it was very big jazz scene, and a lot of jazz musicians came up in Kansas City, Kansas.
And you told me that in fact you have one part of your family who owned a hotel for jazz musicians.
So
right?
my mother's family, they are Faulkners. And that my family opened up a hotel and eatery for the jazz musicians who came through Kansas City, Missouri. And so to make sure the musicians were well taken care of.
Because of course there were hotels for the whites and hotels
Exactly.
for the blacks.
So the two could not mix. So separation was the medium for that.
So how is it growing up in Kansas? Because it's very different from your adult life in New York City, then in California, then in Boston.
And even Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah.
You know, because that was my mother's family's town. But Kansas City, Kansas is just farm fields and freedom. And I just have memories of a childhood of being able to run, just endless running and climbing trees and more running. So it's quite wonderful, these memories.
So when I was at the Mills Gallery, in fact, Carol Moses did an interview with you, and at some point she asks you about a memory, a strong memory from the time you were under 10.
Yes. So the question sort of went like, what is the most primal memory that's intact that you can remember? And yeah, so I gave her that memory.
And you talked about your first time on the school bus, right?
Yes.
So what happened that day? I'm just going to move around because I want the light the other direction. So we'll go back to our seats, and then we'll continue the conversation.
So let me start with the memory is that I think at that point it was probably 5 of us, and I come from a large family, so I have 6 brothers and 1 sister. And so I had started school, and my family didn't necessarily believe in public schools, so we all went to private schools. And we had to catch the bus at the end of our street. And we grew up in a section of town called Greystone. And it was a very hilly section of Kansas City, Kansas. And to catch the bus, we had to go down the hill to catch the bus. So we go down the hill in the morning, we get on the bus, and it's my first, it's the first time I would be going to school. And we get on the bus, and the bus driver immediately tells us that all the Black students have to move to the back of the bus.
So what year was that? Like in the 60s?
I'm thinking 64, 65, possibly. Yeah. So
then what happened?
So I wanted to sit with one of my friends that I had met at school, and this happened to be a white student. But then we all got pushed to the back of the bus. And then, so we got to school, and I was encouraged not to say anything. I think my brother, it's the first time I had heard this phrase, "Don't make waves." And so I asked my brother what it meant, and then he gave me the definition of "don't make waves." So we ended up walking home that night because the same bus driver also took us home. And so he just left us. So we ended up walking home, and we did this for like 3 days because we did not tell our parents that we were kicked off the bus.
How far was the school from your
So
house?
the school was maybe 35-minute, 40-minute walk.
Mhm.
And so for 3 or 4 days, we were late every morning getting to school. And then finally the teacher asked us, why have you been late for 3 or 4 days? And then we told the teacher, and then my teacher told my parents, and then we no longer saw that bus driver again.
Mhm. Well, that's great. Yeah. So yeah, because I was thinking of Rosa Parks, you know, and where
In the bus reference, yes.
yeah, and then you know it was for her. It was December 1st, 1955, and so things had not really changed in Kansas by then.
Exactly.
So you are a member of an artist group that is called IC3. And in fact, yesterday, so you had a reception here 2 days ago
Yes.
at the gallery for your solo
Tuesday,
show.
yes.
And then yesterday, you were at Boston City Hall
Boston City Hall
for a group show with IC3.
group, yes.
So tell me a little bit about IC3. Who are the artists and what makes them to be a group? Like,
Let me start out telling you that this group was started by Dr. Adriana Pratt, and she is a PhD doctor who did biochemistry work in Cambridge at one of the biotech companies for many years. And then she wanted to do some art because she had always done art also, but not as a full-time person. And so she started this group of IC3, and we are all artists who use some sort of reusable material in our art, whether that be as diverse as some people who go and take off fabric and stuff, debris from the ocean, to me using repurposed wood that I get out of people's trash. And it does sort of vary very much as to what the materials that people use.
Great. So I see that, you know, in the chat, we're going to open the chat to see what people say. So yeah, very beautiful work, beautiful show. Enjoying this personal interview. I'm just wondering if there are going to be like some questions coming, but you know, we'll see. So please, if you have questions, please send them to us, and Cedric is reading right now.
I'll do my best.
The chat. And so I was thinking, like, you know, we have a lot of your art in the gallery. I'm wondering, so it represents how many years of your life to create?
I think the show, these totems, a forest of totems, is an accumulation of 10 years of artwork that I have personally been doing at my own house. Yes. Okay.
And so when you create art, what do you struggle most about?
I think one part of it is that since I did not attend art school or anything like that, you know, is it good enough? Am I good enough? What is it considered? Is it considered craft, or is it considered fine art? So I think those are some of the words or phrases that I struggle with, because I want to be presenting the best work I can present.
Yeah, so you definitely present some amazing works. People who come regularly to the gallery have said to me, "This is one of your best shows. We love it." And they want to bring back some family members and friends. And so it's a complete success. So I'm still looking in the questions. And in the chat, I see that Stefan Cohen from Provincetown, hello Stefan, says amazing show. There's a sense of interplay between the pieces that also reminds of dance. Have you ever done a combined movement, dance, and art installation?
No, I haven't, but let's talk.
Yeah, because Stefan has been a dancer his entire life, so I'm sure you would love to have that conversation with you. Sorry. So, Lila Paloma is saying, beautiful show. I'm grateful to have seen the work in person and to have met you. And then she's complimenting me. So thank you, Lila.
You know, I just want to add, I know this is a small world, but I have a nephew named Stefan, and I wonder if you're that person.
No, he's a different Stefan.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Kudos. Good name.
yeah. So now we have 4 questions in here, if I open it up correctly. So Richard is saying, why totems? So why are you calling them totems?
I call them totems because I have never seen this form like this. And it's the closest thing I can think of of this form is indigenous tribes that had totems either buried in the ground and you look up vertically and you see them, or they're hanging from some, installation. So that's sort of where I came with it.
Yeah, and then somebody else, Alexa, hello Alexa, thank you so much for joining us. She says, your work is so powerful and I love the movement and musicality. So it's true that, when I look at them, I think a little bit about didgeridoo, how they decorate the didgeridoos in Australia.
Yes, yes, and the indigenous people of Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And she says, do you spend time with the wood once you find it to hear, what it will become?
I absolutely do. Spending time with it when I first get it pretty much determines what it's going to be and how I'm going to present it.
And then there's Jerusha that is asking us where we can see you work online. And in fact, Harriet, Jerusha, you can in fact find Cedric's work on the school website. If you go to Higgins Art Gallery, so it's a www.capecod.edu/Higgins/ and there are a bunch of photos with Cedric's art and some close-ups also, so you'll get to, but I would say come down, because we are here and we would love to see you.
And if you're in Boston, I also show out of SOA Art Group at 450 Harrison Ave, and me and 6 other friends have an art space there called 213, and we present our art and sell our art in South End Boston, and we're there every Sunday and by appointment also.
Yes, and I have visited Cedric there, and it's just a beautiful, lively building with tons of artists. So I would recommend for everyone to go down to Boston during the weekend and enjoy the arts, the creativity. Alexa also added to a question, if sometimes you know immediately, like when you pick a piece of wood, what it's going to turn into.
You're absolutely right. When I see it on the street, I know that there are pieces that I picked up off the street. I know exactly what it's going to be.
Yeah, so any more questions? So basically, we are open every day during the week, also by appointment. All the hours are on the website that I gave already, Higgins Art Gallery, Barnstable or Cape Cod, and then it will show up once you type that. We also would like to say, if you want to come the last day of the show, yes, on the 14th of October, yeah. I think I said that already, but before we end up, I would like to invite you, and Cedric would love to see you.
Yes.
This is really a fabulous space for the arts, so don't miss it.
Yes. And
we would love to see you. So, Cedric, would you like to say something to conclude?
I just want to, a very heartfelt warmth for everyone here who has treated me so well. And it's just been a wonderful experience meeting the students and getting to know Natalie and meeting the people here and sharing what I'm trying to put out in the world with them. So thank you very, very much.
Well, thank you everyone for coming today. And thank you so much to our technicians, Vanna. We also have Kendra who is here and Kimi. So thank you so much for all your help to make it possible.
And what a great job you did.
Exactly. And thank you all. And we look forward to seeing you at Higgins Art Gallery. And please call me, yes, and I can meet you at the gallery.
Yes.
I would be happy. Thank you.